1, 2, 3, come on!
Hello, I'm Mixon. I'm from DKM 2C. So, to find the derivative of y, we will use the power rule, a rule in which for every x term in an equation, we take the power of x, bring it down as a coefficient, and reduce the power of x by 1. So, to derive the equation for the first x, we take the power 3 as a coefficient. Multiply 3 with the existing constant 4 and minus the power of 3 by 1. For the second x, we take the power 2 as a coefficient, multiply it with the constant 3 and reduce the power of x by 1. The same goes for the last x. We bring down the power 1 of x as a coefficient and multiply it with the constant 6 before reducing with the x power by 1. So the derivative of y will be the quadratic function of 12x squared plus 6x minus 6. The derivative, or also known as gradient function, is then used to identify the x-coordinate of a minimum or maximum points. At a maximum or minimum point, the gradient will be 0, so we can let dy over dx equal to 0. Then we solve x. Since dy over dx is a quadratic function, we can find x by factoring. So by factoring, we get x plus 1 equal to 0 and 2x plus 1 equal to 0. By solving x in both set of parentheses, we get x equal negative 1 and x equal 1 over 2. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Ronan Gadion from DKM2C, and today I'm going to present the continuation step to find y after we had found the different number of x. Okay, so first of all, we are going to use the first equation, this one, and change the x with the number that we get from the previous equation, so that we got 2x over here, this one and this one. So that means we need to find 2y separately. Okay, so the first x, this one, you're going to change it in this equation. Okay, so after that, we are just going to solve this one. We are just going to solve this using as basic mathematics that we have learned from all this year. Okay, and so with that, we got the first y over here. Now we're going to find the second y when x equal to 1 over 2, and we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to change the x with this value. Okay, and so after completing these two steps to find y, we will get two different type of stationary point. The first one is x negative 1, y 5, and the second one is this. And that is how we find a stationary point. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rion Romy. I'm from class DKM2C, and I will be explaining about how to determine the nature of the curve. So in order for us to determine the nature of the curve, first we have to find the second derivative of y. By deriving the first derivative of y, we will get the second derivative. And the first derivative is 12x squared plus 6x minus 6. And when we derive that, we will get the second derivative, 24x plus 6. And after that, we have to substitute the values of x into the second derivative. So the first x is -1, and when we substitute that into the into the second derivative of y, we will get the answer is -18. So when the value is smaller than 0, the point is a maximum. So the second value of x is 1/2. And when we substitute that into the second derivative of y, we will get 18, which is bigger than 0, so it is a minimum point. Therefore, the maximum point is -1 and 5. The minimum point is 1/2 and -7/4. That's it from me. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lee Jizen and I'm from class DKM2C. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to sketch a graph on this question. But before we sketch a graph, we need to determine what type of graph we need to sketch, because there are many types of graph or function. So because we have linear function, quadratic function, power function, and polynomial function, and so on. So how do we determine what type of graph or function we need to use? We need to see on our equation. So right here we have the equation of y equal to 4x cubed plus 2x squared minus 6x. So this is a polynomial function, so we need to sketch a graph that are polynomial function graph. So after that, after we determine what type of graph or function we need to sketch, now we need to know the maximum point and the minimum point. So right now we know the maximum point is x equals to -1 and y equal to 5, and the minimum point is x equals to 1 per 2 and y equals to -7 per 4. So right now I'm going to show you how to sketch a graph. So right now you can see we have the graph right here. So how do we start to sketch a graph? We need to start from below here, and then we start to draw a line across the maximum point. Then we draw a line downward to across the intersection point of x equals to 0 and y equals to 0, and we continue to hit the point of minimum point. Then we start to sketch up. So this is the graph for polynomial function of equation y equal to 4x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x. Thank you.